This is a real clash of the titans. The Steelers unbeaten in 12 games against the Panthers without a loss in 21 league matches. The home side go into the game fresh from a 9-2 victory at Milton Keynes, where coach Alex Dampier got the chance to use his whole bench. The Steelers seem to have finally hit upon the winning import formula. Ken Priestley's arrival at Christmas has given the team a much-needed boost, and his partnership with Steve Nemeth will be a key element in this match, as will be the defensive duties performed by Ron Shudra and the ever-improving Rob Wilson. Panthers have a smaller bench than the Steelers, but arguably more firepower. In Rick Brabant, they have a forward who just can't stop scoring. 83 points already this season, 34 goals and 49 assists. Keep him quiet and you stand a chance of winning, but only a chance, because if he's not firing, then Mario Belanger might well be. He has a great pedigree from his time spent at Durham and Basingstoke, and has been a useful addition to the team after the retirement of coach Mike Blaisdell in a playing capacity. They'll miss the services of Simon Hunt, who was ejected in their 14-6 win at Peterborough the previous evening. The referee for tonight's game is American Ken Taggart, who in a former life as a player was also a player for the Nottingham Panthers. Sheffield Steelers bench all ready for the big one. 3-3 they tied at Christmas. They'll be looking to go one better and break the unbeaten streak of the Nottingham Panthers. The Sheffield Steelers, as we look, will be playing from left to right in their white, green and orange strip, and in their familiar black and gold, it's the Nottingham Panthers. And straight away on defence, Mike O'Connor tries to set the puck rolling for Steve Nemeth, chases on for Priestley into the corner. It'll be collected in centre ice by Webber. Before he can get there, Mike O'Connor gets it. Ron Shudra with a dump into the corner, looking for Scott Neal chasing down right wing. Webber clears back to the blue line. Waghorn tries to collect Brabant in centre ice. Waghorn will try and take it all the way, moving into the range of net, cleared away from deep by Mike O'Connor. First bit of work of any note for Steve Butler to do. Here's Garth Premack. Rick Brabant, top scorer for the Panthers. Very nearly the top scorer in the league this year. Here's defenseman Premack. He's got a ricochet off Scott Neal. Here's Shudra. Nemeth looking to clear the lines, can't. Forced back in by Premack. Steelers now have a chance to charge to the centre with Shudra. Pass almost onto the stick of Priestley. Couldn't control it first time. Scott Neal. Here's Priestley looking for somebody out in front of net. Big Chuck Taylor, former Telford Tigers man. First season with the Panthers, clears as Brabant goes streaming down left wing. Shudra will get there first. Back to Brabant. Now here's Lambert. Couldn't get the shot away. Stopped from getting the shot by Ron Shudra. There's Millie. Here's Nemeth. Double shifting at this stage. Off the boards, Nemeth changes for Tommy Plummer. The crowd, almost 9,500 packed into the Sheffield Arena. Mario Belanger. Now steal by Tim Cranston. Taken away from him by Matt Trickett. And the Panthers trying to formulate something going forward. Ashley Tate was the man just hovering around looking for the puck. It'll be back with Matt Trickett for the Panthers down right wing. Tommy Plummer goes to meet him. Plummer will collect now. Looks for the man to the right. That's Cranston. Lets one go into Butler's pads. Was big on that. And Trickett will bring it away down the right. Here's Lambert. Lambert, acute angle, goes up into the black safety netting behind the back of the goal.
Here we see the play. Ross Lambert comes up, takes a shot, deflected off Chris Kellan right in the crowd at the back of the goal.
Brabant against Wilson in the face-off circle. Brabant was trying and hustling. Waghorn, that went through a crowd of boys. Martin Mackay knew little, if anything, about it. It's back with Cranston. That's Brabant. Premack. Brabant down the right. Brabant hustled by Kelland. Referee Ken Taggart takes a look at it, decides to call nothing at that stage. Now Plummer hustling his way over the blue line. Les Millie will wait, station himself across the blue line, sees it taken away by Paul Adey. Long range effort clipped off Rob Wilson. Again over the plexiglass into the crowd, the temporary seating behind the back of Martin Mackay's net.
Here we go. Paul Adey picks the puck up in the middle of the ice. breaks up in goal, takes a long shot, speculative shot, and no trouble to Martin Mackay.
Belanger trying to win the face-up, but again the Steelers do well just to cushion the blows. Tommy getting towards the net. Priestley cuts across the right wing as Shudra brings it down the centre of the ice. Scott Neal doesn't fancy chasing. Chuck Taylor will carry around the back of the net. He's got wheels when he goes. He might be advancing, and that's going to be a hooking call on Steve Nemeth. It's going to be a 2-minute power play coming up for the Nottingham Panthers. Soon as a Steelers player touches the puck, Mario Belanger will get it back to Brabant. They have 6 out players on the ice now, with the goalie having made tracks for the bench, and a Steelers stick does get on the puck. The referee doesn't see it, and now he does, and that's going to be a 2-minute hooking call on Steve Nemeth, and the first power play of the evening for the Nottingham Panthers.
Here we see Chuck Taylor gathers speed around the back of the net, and this is a lazy penalty. Steve Nemeth hooks his arm. Chuck Taylor makes the most of it. Referee's arm goes up. 2-minute penalty to Sheffield.
Shot from long range from Taylor. Now the Panthers have a man advantage, but Les Milley, there'll be no icing call because they are a man short at this stage. Randall Webber. Les Milley just hanging around in case Chuck Taylor should cough the puck up, and also up there for any loose spoils is Tim Cranston. Belanger switches across the ice from left wing to right as Brabant goes for a drive over the blue line. Here's AD. This is the top line on the power play for the Nottingham Panthers. Hasn't been that impressive of late for the Panthers. It's probably the only part of the game that's really let them down, but they've got the men who can cause problems. Taylor being one of them. Belanger looking for the ricochet back off Martin Mackay around the back of the net. Steelers will look to clear. They are with a man disadvantage still, and they will be for another minute and 13. That's Belanger in the corner, cleared away from deep by the Steelers. There's a chance now perhaps for a breakdown right wing, and here goes Tim Cranston. Cranston looking for a one-on-one with the keeper. Great goal, short-handed too for the Sheffield Steelers, and a big blow early on for the Steelers with a minute still to go on the power play for the Panthers. The Sheffield Steelers take the lead with 4 minutes and 20 on the clock.
Here we go, Tim Cranston, very aggressive up the boards. Shrugs off the challenge from Randall Webber, makes a drive to the net, cuts inside the defenseman and just puts it right in the 5-hole. Great goal by Cranston. Once again, here we go. Randall Webber caught sleeping on the halfway line. Good drive, good strength from Timmy Cranston. There we go. Oh no, top shelf. Nice goal.
What an important blow that could be for the Sheffield Steelers early on, but there's still a man down on the power play, the Nottingham Panthers. Brabant plays it into the corner. Lambert looks for some space for Taylor to have a long-range effort. Shudra blocks the pass, which was intended for Belanger. Plummer, it could be another short-handed goal for Priestley, and it's into the side netting. It hasn't gone in. It hit the side netting, and it just looked as if it had gone in, but Priestley from an acute angle blasting into the netting.
Tommy Plummer, great heads-up play here. Priestley's breaking through the middle. Bad angle shot, hits the side netting, no trouble to the goalkeeper, but at the end of the day, the crowd get on their feet. It's looking good for Sheffield.
Well, the Steelers bench will be delighted with their early starts. Less than 5 minutes gone. They're in the lead, and an unexpected goal when they're short-handed. Panthers still with a man advantage for 30 seconds. Shudra up and under, just dumping it down to waste a little bit more time. AD looking to his left, see who is where. The man who's looking for was Ashley Tate. He'll give it to Belanger to carry down the ice. Belanger will try and drive all the way. Martin Mackay snaffles that one out, looks for somebody to release it to. Nobody in front of net, and 12 seconds remaining on the power play.
Here's Belanger going end-to-end with the puck. Comes up, pulls a move on the defenseman, but it's really a weak shot. And on a power play, I think he'd be better off setting up the play and looking for his defenseman.
Clyde Toole just chewing away for all he's worth. Happy with what he's seen so far from the Sheffield Steelers. Not happy they're in the box though, and they will only be for another 5 seconds. Scott Neal. There's Priestley. Premack. Here's Waghorn. 1-0 to the Sheffield Steelers with 14 minutes and 38 to go. And the power play over for the Nottingham Panthers. Steelers back to a 5-on-5 situation with Chris Kelland, former Panthers player himself, joined the Sheffield Steelers last year. Here's Steve Nemeth, and it's a two-line pass indicated by the linesman, so they're going to have to go all the way back down to the Steelers' end of the ice. Trickett with Taylor for support back on defence. That's the man he uses to carry it down left wing, to slide it through to Brabant. Cranston's keeping very close company indeed. In fact, it's stolen away by Plumbers. He got the legs to go all the way. He has. Can he shoot? No, he can't. Taken away from the play by Brabant, who did well to stay with him all the way. Steelers still have it with Cranston. Millie will look for it in the centre. Can't get it this time, and Brabant will look for it from Randall Webber, who'll carry it over the red line. Brabant to his right, coming into sight, and his left is Lady. And Martin Mackay saw him coming all the way and just managed to get as much of his body across the goal as he could. Here's Wilson, long range from him, really tests out Butler. Webber will clear his line, so Kelland will have to bring it back in the direction of the Panthers' goal with Priestley. Wilson just hovering around in case he needs to give the puck back to him. Priestley's long range effort. Butler fumbles it. It could be a steal here for Scott Neal. Doesn't get it, but they still have possession, the Steelers, if they can get the pass away from Priestley to Neal, which they do. Scott Neal trying to create the angle for Priestley. Shot! And again, Butler covers his angles well, covers the near pipe. Another chance for Priestley. Priestley shoots. Can't find a way through this time. It'll be cleared by AD, who gets a little check into the boards from Priestley. And those two are going to have a little bit of a dialogue as the puck comes back in the other direction. Now chance for Nemeth. Nemeth shot, and Butler sees it forced wide. Lambert. There's frantic action from the Sheffield Steelers. Martin Mackay will put it into the path of Chris Kelland. Crowd really getting in behind this. Here's Kelland. Kelland just dumping it in the corner, hoping somebody's looking keen to chase onto it. Nemeth was the closest man to it. Waghorn will hold him into the boards as the Panthers will try and set Belanger on his way down the right and Lambert down the left. They haven't cleared their lines yet, and they still haven't. That's a very ill-directed pass, and Les Millie will try and make something happen for Nemeth behind the back of the net. Premack goes in for it. Wilson will try and keep it in the zone. He can't, because he has Mark Twait all over him. Lambert now with a one-on-one opportunity, perhaps round. Kelland gets the shot away. Mackay smothers it, pops out in front of him, and he makes the save. A bit of pushing in front of net involving Twait and Tim Cranston, which comes to nothing.
Well, here we see Lambert picking up the puck on the blue line and having a shot from just outside the hash marks. No problem to Mackay, but Sheffield so obviously want the game more than Nottingham right at this moment. They're chasing every puck, they're hitting every player, and Nottingham just don't know how to react to this right at this moment in time.
O'Connor. There's Millie. Trying to set it away down right wing for Mike O'Connor. Mike O'Connor's got a good shot, well directed, perhaps not with as much venom as he would have liked. And Steve Butler just plopping to his left, stops someone sneaking through.
The determination on the Sheffield Steelers players' faces is showing everything about this game so far. They're fired up and pumped up. They want to shoot on sight. They want to make this goalkeeper suffer tonight. And it's looking so far like they're going to do the job they set out to do.
Alex Dampier just passing some instructions on, knows what his team have to do to win this game, and is telling his players precisely what they have to do as Brabant tries to make a break through the centre of the ice. So Connor thwarts of him getting there temporarily, it seems, because then Ashley Tate's going to have a chase. Cleared from deep by the Sheffield Steelers and by Mike O'Connor. Now down the right goes Nemeth, lets one go, and that one looked to be heading wide. But Steve Butler could see that one had a little bit of a curve on it as it came off the stick of Steve Nemeth and blocked it well.
Good move by Steve Nemeth here. You see Ken Priestley comes up, stops on the blue line, doesn't go offside. Nemeth shoots from behind the defenseman's legs. Very difficult shot for the goalkeeper to stop, and he's hurt himself in the process. Looks like it's caught him on the inside of the elbow maybe, but he didn't know much about that one.
Well, Steve Butler seems no worse for his ordeal, just rearranges the fixtures and fittings, make sure he's ready for the face-off, And Steve Butler will position himself ready for another assault on his goal, which Tim Cranston will try and get from the face-off. Steelers don't win because Taylor has it. Taylor then is pulled down in the process of trying to get the puck to a man in a black shirt, and it's going to fall back for Cranston. That one's bobbling around all over the place, and it's all fall down as Ashley Tate goes crashing to the ice. Trying to take control and charge of the situation is Rick Brabant. Let's one go from long range. That wasn't too far wide. That could have gone anywhere too. Tate flips it back. It's going to fall kindly to Tommy Plummer. Plummer looks for Les Milley. Gives it to Cranston inside instead. Cranston will try and drive to the net. Looks for the wraparound. Cranston scores! Second of the game! This man's on fire tonight. Of that there is no doubt. Tim Cranston, all his own work, and good work it was too. And 9:10 on the clock. Steelers lead 2-0.
You can see Cranston here, he's got the beatings of the defenseman. Everybody else goes short side. Cranston takes a long look and then just goes right, top postage stamp. Goalkeeper doesn't have a clue where he's going with that one. That's a lovely goal. Well worked. Here we go. Pulls a move, round he goes. Couple of steps, everybody goes short side. Here he comes, plenty of time, right in the top shelf. Nice as you like.
Second goal of the night for Cranston, and may still be more. 2-0. The Sheffield Steelers lead the Nottingham Panthers, who are not halfway through the first period. 10:39 remaining on the clock, and the Panthers need to do something about this and do something about it quickly. Ross Lambert's just the man to try and put a bit of a step in what's been a fairly pedestrian start for the Panthers so far. They need somebody out in front of net. Mario Belanger is hanging around there too, but Rob Wilson will make the clearance for the Sheffield Steelers. Straight into the crowd, doesn't get the distance he was looking on for it. The atmosphere of the Sheffield Arena is absolutely electric as the Nottingham Panthers try to claw their way back into this game. Premack looking for 80 on the red line, slips off the end of the stick of Rick Brabant and falls kindly this time to Steve Nemeth. Drop pass intended for Ken Priestley. Priestley's pass was meant for O'Connor's. Fall nicely back to Neil. They're looking for a little slide into where there's hardly a gap at all for Ken Priestley. Open wide for Shudra, let one go, and he fires it wide. And there's a stick in the crease and in the goal as well at the moment. That's Garth Premax, he's picked it up. Nemeth can't hold it in the zone. And away will come Ady. Ady's drop pass for Brabant offside. Now here's Rob Wilson down the right. Just flips it forward. The nasty ones to read for defensemen, as you can see there. They didn't really know how to handle it, but Lambert fortunately gets it back from the Nottingham Panthers' point of view. Belanger striding into position down the left for the Panthers. But the Steelers working well at both ends of the ice at the moment, and Tommy Plummer battling for all his worth with Randall Webber. It'll fall back out though for Webber, looking to get where there was no room to slide it in between Martin Mackay and the pipe, and then a little bit of afters going on the boards. Rob Wilson's in there. Chris Kellen's getting a bit of push and shove involved. It's Ross Lambert, the Nottingham Panthers player, at the back of all that lot. And they don't want to give up. Tommy Plummer now is just about to set about the player. Chris Kellen looks back and surveys the scene. Ken Taggart, the referee, will just work out in his own mind what he wants to do here. Tommy Plummer removes his helmet and skates back to the bench. And I think Ken Taggart is going to let bygones be bygones, or is he? No, he's walking across to the penalty box. Mario Belanger goes for the Nottingham Panthers, and it's going to be Chris Calland and Tommy Plummer who both go for the Sheffield Steelers. It's a situation that needs to be resolved by Ken Taggart. He's just explaining his decision to the timekeeper. Chris Calland in the penalty box along with Tommy Plummer as well. They're both in the Steelers penalty box. Now the Steelers with a chance to break down the ice with Ken Priestley. Priestley, he's got all the drivers, he got the man to get the pass to. There's going to be a penalty call on the Panthers. It's going to be a power play for the Sheffield Steelers in just a moment. Priestley taken into the boards by Waghorn, but as soon as a Panthers stick touches the puck, then they will lose a man. O'Connor, long range, just took a deflection off Waghorn, and as soon as Brabant touches the puck, play will be called to a halt, and it's going to be a hooking call for the Nottingham Panthers. And now there'll be a discrepancy on the ice, and the man who wearily makes his way to the penalty box is Graham Waghorn. He's gone for 2 minutes.
Here we see Ken Priestley, great example to all the hockey players. Keep your legs moving, pull the penalties every time. As you can see, his legs never stop. He cuts for the net. Waghorn's no alternative but to give him the big hook.
Well, Graham Waghorn's in there, Ross Lambert's in there, and Mario Belanger are all in the penalty box for misdemeanors in the game. So it's a power play now for the Sheffield Steelers. They have Kelland and Tommy Plummer in the penalty box. As the puck falls out to Scott Neal down left wing. Could give it back to Mike O'Connor on the point, or Shudra waiting for it down right wing. Here's Nemeth, looking for the firepower of Ron Shudra again. Nemeth works it down the right. Here's Nemeth trying to make a good angle for Shudra, but Shudra tied up by Rick Brabant. Chance for a steal now for Ashley Tate. Tate in front of net, scores! Short-handed goal now for the Nottingham Panthers, and that brings the away fans to life. And a bit of sleeping by the Sheffield Steelers defence. And that's the away support getting something to cheer at long last. The Panthers have reduced the arrears to 1 goal.
A lot of good work by Rick Brabant, chasing Shudra. Sets up a nice play between himself and Ashley Tate. They do a 1-2. Tate just tucks the puck underneath Martin Mackay. Here you go, Shudra's in trouble. A lot of strength from Brabant. Tate picks the puck up, slides it off to Rick Brabant out in the wing there, drives for the net, nobody back in time. Shudra just can't get there, slides it through the 5-hole.
So the first goal for the Nottingham Panthers, scored by Ashley Tate with help from Rick Brabant. 7:32 remaining in the first period. Steelers lead the Panthers 2-1, so that's 2 short-handed goals out of the 3 scored so far in this game. Rather unusual situation. Oh, nearly a gimme there from defence, and the Steelers perhaps a little bit rattled by that. Here's Cranston. Cranston just guarding the puck, looking for Millie in the centre. He'll have to chase as the ricochet comes back off the boards. They have 5-on-4 at the moment to the Sheffield Steelers. Here's O'Connor. Here's Shudra. Shudra tries to get round Premack, does get round Premack. That'd be a great goal if he scores it, but good net minding by Stephen Butler, who watched Shudra right the way across the crease and made sure there was no angle to shoot.
Here's Ron trying to make up for his last mistake. He's determined to try and get this one back. Nottingham seem very weak on the wide breaks and can't seem to cope with the Sheffield players driving for the net right now.
Steelers still on the power play with a man advantage. Nemeth. Ashley Tate will clear. Anywhere now will do to waste a few more seconds. On the chase goes Nemeth. Shudra hovering around the right-hand pipe. Now, explosive power needed from Nemeth through the centre. Dumps it into the corner. We'll hope that Shudra's there to collect on left wing. Comes back out to Nemeth. Shudra. O'Connor down the right. Millie. They're getting themselves worked into a box, unable to get anybody out in front of net. They need a shot of some telling nature from Nemeth. Collects Brabant on the way. Millie will try and set somebody up. Shudra behind the net. It's full strength time, and the Steelers will play on a 5-on-5 now. Puck cleared from deep. And Mike O'Connor will work the puck out from behind the back of his own net. Nobody keeping him too close company, and the Steelers given a chance to move down right wing with Rob Wilson, but AD won't let him go too far. Rare old battle going on between those two. Taylor moves it wide to Waghorn, does well to collect that one. Waghorn accelerates, collects a bit of the stick, and then Scott Neal gets involved in the corner with Webber. Mike O'Connor will try and break from deep with AD. Forced back in by Waghorn. That's Webber, good chance out in front now, they should convert through Paul Adey, but Martin Mackay stretches his whole body, stick, gloves and blocker right across the face of the net, and Adey is denied.
First real bit of pressure from Nottingham Panthers here. They got some good heavy work behind the net, trying to slip it out, but unfortunately for Paul Adey, he just can't lift the puck up above Martin Mackay.
Back in by Taylor. There's Lambert. Away comes Priestley, feeding it to Nemeth. Nemeth, long-range effort, which Butler does well to force away. Can't get the distance on it this time, though. Quick back check for Rob Wilson. As he sees Ross Lambert hovering around. And now the tempo of the game and the emphasis of the game is changing back in the Panthers' direction. Steelers still 2-1 up, though. Taylor will have to be careful. Scott Neal's got the legs to get round him, but Taylor's a wise old bird and make sure he's big on that play. Lambert, Belanger through to Ashley Tate. Tate will look for somebody out in front, but good work again, right in the corner. And the puck disappears from view. It's trapped on the boards. Well, Steelers bench not perhaps quite as happy as they were before. Clyde Toole there, Alex Dampier right at the far end, just going to pass on some instructions to his players. Rob Wilson comes off for a bit of a breather. Panthers have to chase back through Graham Waghorn. Steve Butler has the goal covered in case the puck should take a strange turn or a strange bounce, and Waghorn will just hold on to it and go through down the left to Adey with Cranston. This is going to be an icing call, but it's called off by the linesman. Panthers just having the best period of the play so far, with 4 minutes just over to go in the first period. Les Milley with Cranston inside him. Milley's done a lot of good work already, but he'll find Graham Waghorn snapping at his heels all the way through, and they give it up to Premack. Adey working down the right. Brabant almost runs into Webber, but doesn't. Webber's the man just advancing to goal, but doesn't get a chance to take the shot because Callan's clear, but only as far as Adey. Just dumped around the boards for a quick line change to the Nottingham Panthers. As Shudra brings it out of defence. Shudra still going. Belanger trying to pull him back. Can't. Shudra just, again, just testing out the keeper. Waghorn just bypasses Lambert. That's going to be an icing call, and they'll come all the way back. Wilson, chance for Scott Neal. Oh, he had to do that blind on the backhand, and it just skewed wide of the left-hand pipe, and Scott Neal is not at all happy with that. Steve Butler, however, will be overjoyed.
I think Scott Neal gets more of a surprise than anything else that the puck ends up on his stick here. But normally Scotty's deadly in situations like that. 3 feet out from the net. He normally scores these ones. He'll be disappointed.
Belanger to help out his defence. Taylor to Lambert, who is everywhere on the ice. Really does work tirelessly for the Panthers' cause. It's Taylor. Wilson's going to be a bit careful because hustling him all the way is Mark Twait, and there's problems here for the Steelers. It's coughed up by Kelland. Lambert nearly gets a chance for the shot. Now Kelland will try and make amends by making something happen at the other end. Drop pass for Scott Neal into the slot. It's there! Scott Neal, I think, gets it, or Ken Priestley was certainly working his way into the crease, but it doesn't matter from the Steelers' perspective. They've reopened the gap to 2 goals, and Scott Neal and Ken Priestley in position from that centering pass. The Steelers lead 3-1.
It just shows you how quickly things can change in hockey. Chris Callan making mistakes at the back, picks the puck up, skates the length of the ice, drop play to Scotty Neal, who takes a pass, comes shot over into the slot area. It looks like it went in off the goalkeeper's stick. Here we see again Scotty Neal looking for Priestley on the far post. Oh no, and it's gone off number 11, Matt Trickett. No own goals in ice hockey though, that's one to Scotty Neal.
So Scott Neal gets his name on the score sheet, and it's an unassisted goal. Priestley didn't get the touch, the goalie did, and it's 3-1 Panthers, 3-1 Steelers with 2:33 remaining in the first period. Back to Waghorn on the blue line. So Cranston, who's been hustling all the way through the game, will clear his zone. It'll fall back to Waghorn on the red line. Ashley Tate. Tate drives to the net. Well covered by Martin Mackay, but the danger not averted yet. Brabant looks for the wraparound. Can't control it with his stick. Plummer. There's Millie. Down right wing. Forced back in by Waghorn. Cleared away. And there's a 3-on-2 break if they're quick. Wilson to Millie down the right. Millie can't get the shot away because Waghorn is big in front of him, but they have it back through Cranston. Back into the path of Wilson, pops up in the air. Tate doesn't know quite what to do with it, bats it down, and Les Millie takes him into the boards. And referee Ken Taggart loses sight of the puck, calls play to a halt. 1:39 remaining in the first period.
I think Graham Waghorn can count himself lucky he's not sent to the box here. You'll see when the puck goes up into the air, Ashley Tate tries to grab a hold of it, Les gives him a shove from behind, and there you go, the big cross check, bottom of the back. That's a bad penalty, and I'm sure that Les will be looking for some retribution later on.
Nemeth looking for it for the Steelers, held off the play by Chuck Taylor, digging in for all his worth is Scott Neal, scorer of the Steelers' third goal. Now's a chance of a break for the Panthers. 2-on-2 situation here with Belanger. Drop pass inside, it's a poor one, and it can't be controlled by Randall Webber, but Lambert gets it back, and smothering the keeper there was Mario Belanger, but it's fallen kindly for the Sheffield Steelers and for Scott Neal. I think he was hoping that Priestley might have been a bit more alert on that play, but Priestley will try and win it back. They keep it in the zone. It'll fall nicely, almost did, to Scott Neal. Just came off his skate, and he couldn't control it with his stick. And there was a golden opportunity to increase the lead still further. Here's Lambert across the blue line. Great chance inside, but just stopped by the stick of Ron Shudra. Prevented it falling kindly for Randall Webber. Now at the other end, it's real end-to-end stuff here. Nemeth crosses the line. Priestley, great chance, and Priestley must score, and does! Ken Priestley makes it 4-1 Steelers, and again the Nottingham Panthers defence just opened up, and the Steelers fans come to life in a big way.
Here we go, Stevie Nemeth makes great ground up the left wing here. Has a look around, see who's with him. Cuts along the blue line, great move by Priestley, reads the play well, defenseman left, flopping like a fish. And there we go, Ken Priestley, no competition for that one.
Ken Priestley then, his first goal of the night. Steelers lead 4-1 into the last 35 seconds as Tate and Plummer get involved, and they're both going to be ejected from the game for 2 minutes. Tommy Plummer doesn't know why, Ashley Tate knows just why, and Ken Taggart, the referee, does also. Both players banished to the penalty box for 2 minutes. Tommy Plummer goes, Ashley Tate goes. They have a lengthy discussion from long range.
This is where the game's going to get interesting now. Nottingham not used to being behind like this. Cock of the North at the moment, they're finding themselves being pegged back by the Steelers, and they don't like what's happening to them right now. Tommy Plummer, fiery character, took a silly penalty when I don't think he deserved one there. It seemed that it was a bit of much ado about nothing. Ashley Tate obviously very upset, and he's showing his frustration right now.
Sheffield to interference, takes Nottingham to interference, and it was a time 19 minutes and 29 seconds. 1-9-2-9.
There's Tommy Plummer surveying the scene as we go into the last 20 seconds of the first period. Here's Brabant. Brabant intercepted. They're reading the pass as well, the Steelers, and Les Millie almost telegraphed onto his stick. Here's Chuck Taylor to try one for long range. 20 minutes has elapsed at the Sheffield Arena, And the Sheffield Steelers have done all they could have wanted and more in the first 20 minutes play. They lead the Nottingham Panthers by 4 goals to 1. The start of the second period at the Sheffield Arena. The Steelers lead the Nottingham Panthers by 4 goals to 1, and who would have predicted a scoreline like that after 20 minutes play against a team who have not been beaten all season in the league. The Sheffield Steelers, second in the league, looking to tie things. They are just 2 points behind after the game's up to this stage.
It'll be interesting to see how Nottingham come out and play this period. They sat back on their heels and they paid the price in the first period. And I'm expecting to see them turn the screw a bit now and try and put Sheffield's defencemen under a bit more pressure than they have been.
Kelland against AD in the face-off circle. Trickett will dump it in, just wide of Ken Taggart, the referee. It's real clatter and bang at this stage in the second period. Steelers trying to work it out from deep behind their own net. Here's Steve Nemeth. Wide to Les Milley. Milley will try out Steve Butler early stage of the second period.
Les Milley picks the puck up on the right wing. That's a terrible lineup for a shot because the goalkeeper knows it's not going to come right away and he's got plenty of time to set his stall out. No problem whatsoever.
Les Milley comes across to the bench. He's seen enough of the action for the time being. The line change made by Alex Dampier, throws some fresh legs and some new faces onto the ice. Ken Priestley trying to win the face-off against Rick Brabant. He does, but Brabant claims possession back behind the back of Stephen Butler's goal. Here is Brabant. Scott Neal will try and impede his progress, but Brabant is big and strong and gets the pass unloaded to AD. One back by Priestley. A lot of wide open ice down the right for Chris Kelland to work. Here's Priestley. Kelland will drive to the net. Priestley just testing out Butler with a speculative long-range effort, which could have fallen back to anybody and bounced anywhere. Fell kindly for the Nottingham Panthers. Kelland, there's Wilson. And just skating towards him to put him off was Paul Adey. No problems for Wilson. But then Kelland takes a tumble from the challenge by Waghorn. The centering pass from Ken Priestley finds its way into the side of the net. Scott Neal. The Panthers will try and clear their zone. Give a bit of a meal of doing just that, but they have now through Ashley Tate. Who'll try Martin Mackay, who hasn't had to soak up too many shots so far. Webber then with a follow-up. Such as the force on that one as it comes back off the boards. And the plexi, that it finds its way all the way back down to the Panthers' end of the ice, putting them under pressure again from the Steelers. Now, free-willing, Ross Lambert goes down right wing with Shudra. Shudra gets it away, but can't find anybody in a white shirt. He'll come back with interest from Randall Webber. Webber just off balance slightly when he took that shot. Trying to win it back is Lambert. Lambert being held into the boards by Shudra, and away will charge Les Milley down the left. Looking for Cranston, who's found loads of space for a hat-trick. Cranston, no, he's stopped by Stephen Butler, who then skated back into his own net. There's going to be a slashing penalty called. Tim Cranston, oh so close to getting the hat-trick, but there is a power play opportunity coming up for the Sheffield Steelers as Ashley Tate makes his way to the bench.
Here we see good work on the boards from Les Milley. Dumps the puck into Cranston. He's got 10 feet on the other guys. A couple of big slashes coming in, and Butler just stands up and makes the play.
Ashley Tate for that slash on Tim Cranston will sit it out for 2 minutes. So a power play for the Steelers, just what the Panthers did not want, though they have scored a short-handed goal in the game so far. Captain of the Panthers, Rick Brabant, trying to waste a bit of time, but he's coughed it up to Tommy Plummer. Plummer trying to make the angle for the shot, and Steve Butler had to throw everything in behind that one. He comes back out to Wilson. Here's Cranston looking for the hat-trick goal again. My goodness me, there was some force behind that. And it just bounces back off the protector of the goalie. Cranston again is denied.
That whole play broke down with Brabant trying to do a little bit too much, a little bit too fancy on it, killing the penalty. Gives the puck away, coughs it up, comes up to Cranston. The puck's up on its end when he takes the shot. Goalkeeper hits him on the shoulder blade. doesn't feel a thing.
Kelland. Still a minute and a half on this power play for the Steelers, looking for the wraparound. It's in! Finds its way through the defences of Stephen Butler, and Steve Nemeth scores his first goal of the evening for the Sheffield Steelers, and they've at long last made the power play count.
Nottingham are all at sea here. Chris Kelland dumps the puck down the boards. It's picked up by Priestley, I think it is. No, it's Scott Neal. Gives it to Nemeth. Fatal mistake by Waghorn. Goes round the long way. No protection for the goalkeeper on the near post. Here we see it. Goes round. Stevie Nemeth just tucks it in. It comes off the post and back off the goalkeeper's skate. 5-1. Who'd have believed this one?
Steve Nemeth then with his first goal of the night, and the 5th for the Sheffield Steelers, leading the Panthers 5-1. 16:49 remaining in the second period. This would be a turn up for the books. Only 6 goals between the two sides when they met at Christmas. We've already had 6, and we're not halfway through the game yet. Scott Neal. Here's Priestley. Nemeth, this line very effective. Ron Shooter now, he's got the legs, he wants to drive to the net, and he's going to do just that and looks for the 5-hole, comes back out, and Priestley misses a very good chance there. I think he was rather surprised the puck came back out to him, but it did. And now it's forced down the other end for the Nottingham Panthers, but the Steelers very quickly break out of defence. Priestley now, here's Nemeth for number 2, Priestley! His second of the night. That is great work. That is wonderful build-up by the Sheffield Steelers. That is ice hockey of the very top draw for the Sheffield Steelers, and they really are running amok in this game. They've scored their 6th. That's Priestley's second.
Here we go. What a great goal this is. Nice play in. Priestley takes the puck up, fakes the shot, dumps it off to Stevie Nemeth, right over, and there you go, straight through the 5-hole. Nottingham's defence, I just don't know what day it is today. I don't think they got out of bed this morning because they're looking themselves like they're all at sea. They're giving no encouragement to each other at all, and the forwards just don't seem to be covering and picking up their men at all.
Ken Priestley's second goal of the night is Sheffield Steelers' 6th goal of the night, and we still have another 36 minutes remaining in the game, and the Panthers must wonder what has hit them. Well, there should be some smiling faces. You can't see them, but I can tell you they're smiling inside. Anyway, Belanger then picks his spot, finds the target, bottom right-hand corner of the net, and Belanger, the sharpshooter for the Panthers, reduces the arrears back to 4 in no time at all, and we've had 3 goals in less than a minute.
They always say teams are at their weakest when they've just scored a goal. Sheffield have just scored 2. Tommy Plummer gets robbed mid-ice by Primac. Nice shot from Mario Belanger, comes up here, picking the bottom corner. Mark Mackay can't cover that one. This gets the game a bit more interesting. It was getting to be a bit of a runaway for Sheffield.
So Mario Belanger, the man brought in to replace Mike Blaisdell as a player, the man himself is a coach of the team, and we'll be watching with interest from the sidelines as to what's happening. 6-2 to the Steelers over the Panthers now. 15:35. Long shots raining in on Stephen Butler, and they'll look to clear their lines, will the Nottingham Panthers, through Graham Waghorn. Trying to work it through the centre. Will be collected by Tate, streaming down the right as Belanger looking for a little reverse pass. Nobody there except for Cranston wearing a Sheffield Steelers shirt. Waghorn drives it in, stopped there by Rob Wilson. Here's Plummer, no route through the goal, 3 black shirts in his way. Here's Webber. Tate will let one go, and that didn't miss the target by a great deal. Such was the force, it's going to go all the way back down to the Panthers' end of the ice where Waghorn has it guarded. We'll look for Chuck Taylor. Taylor watches it ricochet around the boards, and Kelland will collect inside the Steelers' defensive zone and work it out around the boards down right wing. Through the centre goes Steve Nemeth looking for Scott Neal, just beaten to the puck by Lambert, batted down by Ady. Ady will be on his way. Lambert is on his way down the left, will fire it in, just wide of Mackay's goal. But the pressure now being exerted by the Nottingham Panthers. Ady, here's Lambert again. Back on the blue line is Matt Trickett. Forces it all the way through, is missed by O'Connor and nearly collected by Brabant. You can't give him that kind of opportunity. Puck forced away, icing call. Steelers can breathe again.
Well, that last goal seemed to have sparked a bit of fight in Nottingham's play, because up to this moment in time they've not been competing for anything really, and it's nice to see them get a bit of the action.
Steelers fans getting engrossed in what they're seeing. It's one of those captivating games where I don't think people can really believe what they're seeing. But the Steelers 4 goals up over the Nottingham Panthers, who've been walking through the league up to this stage. Taylor, it's a long-range effort. Lambert, good double save made by Martin Mackay, first with the pads, then with the glove. And Lambert is thwarted at this attempt.
Well, if Nottingham had scored there, I think Sheffield would have been very aggrieved, because the puck gets shot in here. Look, player on the far side, still inside the end zone. The puck hits the goalkeeper. It should be a face-off outside, and if the rebound had been put away, I could see Sheffield having plenty of complaints about that one.
Premack, Belanger is flipping it forward for Mark Twaite. O'Connor's the man who's got to try and keep him close company. Then falling over goes Ashley Tate. It's a rough and tumble. Shudra, lovely pass right onto the stick of Millie. Good shot, ricochet, nearly coming back out to the stick of Tommy Plummer. Plummer was certainly in the right place, but just couldn't get it worked back in. Belanger, as Panthers look to clear their lines, but only temporarily. Long range effort coming in then from Mike O'Connor, goes wide of the target. Steelers can't keep it in the zone. Shooter will fire it back round the boards. Couple of Steelers, half a line change, some new names. Perry Doyle gets his first shift of the game for the Sheffield Steelers. Played around the back of the boards, looking for anybody in a black shirt who can do some damage. Brabant could be the man. Trickett tests one go. It's bobbling around. It's Brabant. The loose puck popped back out off Martin Mackay. And Rick Brabant is the man on hand, and that means goal number 35 of the season for Rick Brabant, and the Steelers find themselves back to 6-3.
Just a packed goal mouth, big Melly in front, puck comes out to Brabant, he sticks it away. Sheffield spending too much time there looking for the bodies, I think, rather than trying to clear the zone. Puck comes back, speculative shot, and there we go. Brabant, goal hungry as ever, just turns it round the goalkeeper, makes the game 6 goals to 3.
Rick Brabant, ace, goal scorer, goal poacher, in the right place at the right time. 6-3 Steelers over Panthers, 12:50 remaining. Well, it was 6-1, it's now 6-3, and Nemeth trying to change all that. Priestley as well, looking for his hat-trick. Driving to the net, lets the shot go. Perry Doyle moves into the position in front of the net, looking for the pass back. Shot comes in from Priestley. They clear their lines to the Panthers, and there's a call been made by Ken Taggart. It's a hooking call. And
hooking call on Steve Nemeth there. Obviously felt that they were going to be cut short at the back with the amount of forechecking that was being done, so he decides just to give a little tug on his shirt, and referee Ken Taggart spots that one. Here we go, Nemeth behind, trying to dig the puck out, sees it, here we go, there's the hook. You know, 4 Sheffield players in and around the zone, not such a bad penalty after all.
There's Steve Nemeth. Already accounted for 1 of the 6 goals scored so far for the Sheffield Steelers, Steve Nemeth. But he's not going to do much on the ice at this stage, because they're going to have to play on a 5-on-4 for a while. Here's AD. They've cleared their lines, the Steelers. Chasing back towards his own goal is Chuck Taylor. Brabant down the right. AD cuts across to right wing, allowing Brabant a bit of time to space to move his way down the left. Taylor, and that was collected by the stick of AD, and rockets into the crowd behind the back of Martin Mackay's net. And somebody will have a souvenir and a memento to take away tonight.
Here we go, puck just flipped through. Chuck Taylor doesn't get much on the shot, and it's deflected up by Tim Cranston. Or Ron Shudra is. Deflects it up and out over the plexiglass at the end of the building. Not so good from Nottingham. They need to set up a bit more and stop looking for the quick shot.
Plummer trying to stop Randall Webber. Trying to work it in. The Nottingham Panthers. Brabant is the man who's hovering around the front of the net. The pass will come back out perhaps to either him or Belanger. 80 trying to set it up. Here is Belanger. Out on the line too is Randall Webber. 80. Back out to Belanger. 80. Brabant is within sight of goal. Priestley trying to tie him up in front. Here's Taylor. And Taylor makes it look so easy. The defence caught napping. Taylor given the space, lets one go, and all of a sudden we really have a hockey game on our hands. 6-4.
That was a great goal by Nottingham Panthers. Great power play. Play the puck back and forward, back and forward. You can see all the Sheffield players slowly being sucked over, sucked in. Priestley drops in because Kellen goes behind the net to pick up Paul 80. Doesn't get back in time. Taylor's left open and picks the bottom corner of the net. That's a really nice work goal.
And Chuck Taylor, who spent so many years with the Telfords Tigers, and before that with the Solihull Band's first year with the Panthers. And Stephen Butler makes a save from a long-range effort from Nemeth. 6-4 now to the Steelers over the Panthers as we enter the last 11 minutes of the second period. Now Twait, are they a bit rattled perhaps, the Steelers now? They should be. 3 goals in quick succession. Premack scores! Screen by Mark Twait in front of the Steelers goal. And Martin Mackay, I think we'll see, had no chance. But goal number 5, and the Panthers fans know this game really has come to life.
Well, the Panthers have got caught fire here. Mark Mackay lets a really bad rebound go out here. And Premack, oh, Mark Mackay had a clear sight of that. That's just a good shot. And obviously Martin will be disappointed that he's not got down to that one. Here we go, just lines it up. Nobody in the way. Mark Mackay just beaten by the sheer speed.
Well, there's Garth Premack, a defenseman who certainly can hit the puck with some venom. And the Nottingham Panthers, from being 6-1 adrift, are now 6-5 down, and we're not even halfway through this game. And the second period has been a real problem for the Steelers of late. The Panthers fans will hope it continues to be just that, because the second period is where the Steelers have gone to sleep in recent times, and they're doing just that at the moment. And it must be a very big worry for the Sheffield Steelers bench. Alex Dampier will not be happy with what he's seen so far. He's looking on the ice, just trying to scream some instruction to be telling the next line who's going to go out on the ice exactly what to do now. Both sets of fans are really raising the roof in the Sheffield arena. The noise is absolutely deafening. Mike O'Connor, long range from him, too high and too wide. The Panthers will deal with that all day. Shudra. There's Millie, looks to dump it in. Now the Nottingham Panthers have the onus and the emphasis going their way. Premack, dumped back in by Shudra, who wants to chase, nobody does. A line change for the Sheffield Steelers. Nemeth's out there now with Priestley, who did the damage early on, but haven't managed to post any numbers up on the board of late. Now it's Panthers again with Webber, looking for Brabant, who's also keen as mustard to get back on the score sheet. Webber, not too far wide. It's all Panthers pressure at this stage. Brabant, who's pushed off the play by Priestley. They clear their lines, the Steelers. Only a temporary reprieve here perhaps, as Trickett plays along the boards. Dumped in by 80, when in fact it needed a save by Martin Mackay. O'Connor will try and hold off his man, give Millie a chance to break away with the puck, but they're trapped behind the boards. It's not good Steelers play at the moment. It's all coming from the Nottingham Panthers. Taylor, shot on target. Mackay had to be right in the way to deny him this time. Shudra will try and get involved behind the back of the net. He'll fall back out to Brabant. Taylor with another boomer. Didn't get it away this time. Might get it away this time. Martin Mackay going from left to right to centre of the goal, trying to anticipate where the puck was going to go. Meanwhile, it's sprayed down the other end of the ice, and the Steelers have lost the plot in a big way in this game. But now they might get it back through Cranston. There's 2 men offside. Had to hold it up, and in doing so, but he's got it back now. Then loses it, then gets it back, then loses it. It's real centre ice comic capers now. Shot from Belanger, which Mackay does well to get his body in behind, plops down, freezes the puck, and the Steelers need a breather. And the Nottingham Panthers fans are really into this game now.
Well, I hope for Sheffield's sake they don't go back to the dump and chase style of hockey that they've been used to for the last few weeks, because they've got all the bonus points tonight from going and carrying the puck into the end zone. You see there, another shot, Mark Mackay doesn't catch it cleanly. He's got to start taking the puck, holding it, getting breaks in the play, let Sheffield settle down, have a few deep breaths, concentration.
Premack will chase back. Plummer will wait for the puck out in front of net in case it's coughed up. It isn't. He's a big man, he's strong and knows what to do, this Premack. Here's Lambert. And Martin Mackay made that look very easy, and then he puts it right back onto Lambert's stick, or to Webber's stick this time, as Lambert tries to work it through to Randall Webber. Steelers desperate to clear their lines. They do, with Tate, going to work it back towards the red line. Webber, quick chase forward by Lambert, just wide of the target by Webber. Shots raining in from everywhere from Martin Mackay. Wilson. Here's Plummer. Plummer as Scott Neal crisscrosses across the ice. Plummer's lost it. Tate has it for the Nottingham Panthers. Gets it back again from Ross Lambert. Cleared by Plummer. Any port in the storm now. The Steelers just happy to whack it away as far as they can. Webber. That could take an awkward bounce back off the boards and the plexi. Scott Neal. Neal down the right. Looking for somebody in the centre. It would have been Nemeth, couldn't get it away. Scott Neal is going to go in for it though, try and dig it out as Taylor keeps him close company. Waiting for somebody back on the blue line. Squirts wide of the goal, and Mario Belanger will clean up the loose spoils. Lovely pass to Brabant. Got 80 for support, but then coughs it up for Steve Nemeth. Little flip forward for Millie. Doesn't reach him, but gets to 80 instead. 80. Crowd going a little bit quieter than they have been at times during this game. Mackay. Here's Brabant. Back in the corner for 80. 80 looks for the man out front. Nobody there this time. Wilson. Wilson will clear down the ice. That's going to be an icing call if the puck makes, but it won't. And Chuck Taylor will have to control it round the back of the board. Priestley having a dig at him, and another dig at him, trying to cough the puck up. He does. Priestley's wide open. He should be able to shoot him. He can take it in. He does, but goes wide of the target. And he had Steve Nemeth with a pass if he could have got it to him. Meanwhile, Chuck Taylor has taken a tumble on the red line. Les Millie was there in close proximity. And there's the Steelers bench looking on, wondering how the hell they've squandered a 5-goal lead very nearly. They've given away 4 of them. It's 6-5.
Great play by Priestley here. This is determination at its best. Follows Taylor all the way around, coughs him up into making a mistake. Nemeth picks the puck up, puts the puck up back over, and now there you go. There's the collision, there's the tumble. Looked a lot worse than it really was.
Well, Taylor's going. He's gone for 2 minutes, and it's going to be a power play for the Sheffield Steelers. Holding the stick is the call made on Chuck Taylor. Holding the stick of Les Millie as he was trying to help out in neutral ice. So it's going to be a 2-minute advantage now for the Sheffield Steelers, which they should convert. But both sides have given up a goal already short-handed tonight. 6:11 remaining in the second period. 6-5 it is to the Steelers against the Panthers. Waghorn giving Martin Mackay a bit of gainful employment, just shuffling the puck to his left. Now Priestley, determination etched all over his face, trying to do a lot of work himself. Needs somebody to centre the pass to. Scott Neal's the man waiting back on the blue line though is Ron Shooter. They should give it to him for the boomer. He's going to make some room for himself. Slides it through. Who's there for the rebound? Nobody in a white shirt, and it's cleared from deep by Randall Webber, and Ron Shooter will have to set up the play again, and over half a minute's gone on this power play already. Here's Priestley. Nemeth calling for it down the right. He'll get it. Nemeth looking for somebody to help him out here. There's all black shirts around him. Priestley's almost in there, but it didn't quite reach him or Scott Neal. And the Panthers, of course, because they're a man short, will just fire the puck down the ice to waste a bit more time. Here's Shudra. Shudra, Priestley, Nemeth, drop pass to Shudra. Oh, that's not the first time that's happened. They've given a chance now for Ashley Tate. Chris Callan's guarding the angle, and Martin Mackay holds on to it for just about a second, then releases it to Ron Shudra. The crowd getting well in behind the Sheffield Steelers now as that pass from Shooter doesn't reach Priestley, who has to wheel round to try and take up position again. Cranston relieves Priestley of his duties. Tommy Plummer's out on the ice. Here's Shudra. Power play just not working at the moment. Perhaps Les Milley can do something more. Gets the shot on target. They're looking for the rebound, and Cranston stealing in, looking for his third of the night. Kelland is open if he can get the pass to him. Kelland shot! Didn't get through. Steve Butler did well, and he really has grown in stature in this game. Now a chance for Brabant. Save made by Mackay. Danger not averted yet. Now it will be with Milley. 14 seconds on the power play. A 3-on-2 now for the Sheffield Steelers. Milley driving to the net is Plummer. Can he get the pass to him? He can't. No, he can't. And Chuck Taylor will return to the ice in just 3 seconds from now, as Cranston tries to put onto the stick of Tommy Plummer. Here's Cranston, and he tried to get the shot away as Chuck Taylor returns to the ice. He got the shot away, but Steve Butler had it well covered, and a power play chance squandered for the Sheffield Steelers.
Great move by Timmy Cranston here. He's working ever so hard tonight. Plummer makes a nice pass, just slips it off to him, and he comes in. Lovely move. Tries to slide it right underneath Stevie Butler. Stevie Butler down on the puck. Good Solihull boy, brought up in the faith.
Cleared by Trickett, forced back in by Kelland. Steelers trying to exert a bit of pressure now to have to withstand a lot, but now it falls nicely to Belanger, who might pick his spot. Reverse pass, gotta be there from Lambert. No, it's saved. Well, is the goal given, or is the goal not given? Ken Taggart will have to make a decision, and I think he's calling the goal off. Rob Wilson's having a long chat with Taggart. Let's see on the replay whether we can see whether that did cross the line or not. They've given it.
Break. Here we go. Belanger spins, dumps the puck back. Ross Lambert turns and spins. Man on the goal line. Can't tell you from this angle.
Well, we reckon that didn't go in. We'll have another look.
Here we go. Let's see if we can see it clearer. Nice play. Here we go. Spin around. Bang, bang. Oh yeah, that looks like it was in the net. Tough call, tough call.
Well, Ross Lambert will take the credit, and it's 6-6. Belanger actually gets the final touch according to the referee. 3:39 then remaining. What a game we have here. 6-6, Steelers against the Panthers. And I think before the end of that period, we're going to have to look at that controversial goal again, perhaps in freeze frame to give you an idea. Nemeth then getting the drive in. Priestley. Back it comes out to Shudra. Oh, the motion is going all the way. Now here come the Panthers. It's all going their way now. Lambert, Belanger, Lambert. Mackay just waves at that one as it goes wide of his left-hand pike. Waghorn. Still loose, it could be anybody's. O'Connor, Nemeth shovels it wide, shot from Belanger. Well, it was more of a dump than a shot in the end. Shudra off the boards, and Nottingham Panthers have come back from the dead. Back to Premack. What an amazing game this has been. Shudra creeps it around the boards. Les Milley just feints on it a bit. And then Martin Mackay sees the puck whack back in his direction again. Cranston will steal it away. Here's a big game player who needs to start motivating the rest of the team. Through the centre, Cranston, 2 already, going for number 3. He's almost there and gets the shot away, but Butler has it well covered at the near pipe. And Cranston hasn't given up yet, still wants it. Milley will force it back, looking for Cranston, who'd moved out of his position. And with the last 2 minutes beckoning, Garth Premack tries to work it out of defence. The Steelers have found a bit of grit and determination again. Priestley dumps it back in the corner for a line change, and Waghorn will just coax it around the back of the Panthers net and drives it up the ice, hoping that Mark Twait can get on the end of it. He can't. Mike O'Connor can, and needs to find Nemeth. Nice little neat pass, lovely reverse pass from Priestley. Plays some nice hockey again. Looking for the pass from Scott Neal. Here's Priestley again. Needs somebody in front of net. Nobody there, but here's Nemeth, who did collect it. Didn't look like he had much of a chance of doing that. Needs somebody for the shot. Comes back to O'Connor. Fed in. Oh, it nearly fell for Ken Priestley. But Steve Butler just got his stick in the way first. This is really all action stuff. And then the puck disappears under some bodies in the corner. Steve Nemeth takes a breather, works his way back to the box.
Here we see the Nottingham goal again. Kalonji slips the puck back. Ross Lambert turns and spins, takes the shot. It looks like that was just over the line, but that's anybody's call. Ken Taggart's a brave man in the Sheffield arena.
Well, Ken Taggart's the man who made the decision in the end. The goal judge's light did not go on to signal the puck had crossed the line, so she didn't think it had, but Ken Taggart did, and that's all that matters. But I'm sure that's inconclusive, and really, if it's inconclusive, it shouldn't be given, but it was given, and it's 6-6 now, as the Sheffield Steelers have to do some more defending. Wilson just trying to work it up the ice. He does just that. Icing call, and they will come all the way back as we enter the last minute of the second period. Trickett. There's Tommy Plummer with Les Millie wide down the right. Plummer's ridden a challenge. Can he keep control of his skates and the puck? No, he can't. And there's going to be an interference called on the Nottingham Panthers. It's a 2-minute call made on Ross Lambert. Lambert disappears for 2 minutes. Another power play for the Steelers.
Once again, we see the benefits and plus points for Sheffield, taking the puck into the end zone and driving around wide on the outside. Tommy Plummer takes the defenseman on, beats him for speed, starts driving towards the net, and in the middle, you can see just out of shot, Ross Lambert holding up Les Millie, and that's why he goes to the penalty box.
Last 45 seconds of the second period, and how dearly the Sheffield Steelers could do with a go-ahead goal here on the power play, because they were 6-1 up. 6-6 now. Schuderer works his way slowly, methodically down the ice. Priestley knows what to do with the puck, needs somebody to give it to though, and doesn't get it where he wants it at all this time. Schuderer, Kelland, Webber is giving him a right old hard time as he works his way into the corner. Millie, a dump in for Steve Nemeth. Can they get a shot away before the end of the period? Probably not, as Nemeth is tied up. Last few seconds, it's whacked down the ice. That'll be the last action of the second period. And what an amazing second period it has been. Sheffield Steelers at 23:52, 6-1 up, but Panthers with 5 goals in retaliation. It's 6-6. What an absorbing first 2 periods we've had at the Sheffield Arena. There's more twists and turns yet still to come, of that I am sure. 6-1 up the Sheffield Steelers, 6-6 after 2 periods play. They threw away a 5-goal lead, and against the top of the table team, when you've opened the door, you don't expect it to be closed in such an emphatic way. Now here's Ken Priestley. What can he do early stages with the Steelers, remember, on the power play in the third period, but nothing can happen this time. And it's up to Rob Wilson to go and collect back down his end of the ice. 40 seconds remaining on the power play for the Sheffield Steelers. They have a man advantage on the ice. They must make this count to get back in front. Chris Kelland thinks about the long-range effort, dumps it into the corner, whacked away, but not far enough away. Back with Martin Mackay. Here's Priestley. Last 15 seconds of the power play. They need to make something happen, and quickly. Rob Wilson, is he going to line up for a big boomer? Plays it out wide, but it can't be collected by Nemeth. They'll try and centre it again for Les Millie, who's trying to work his way behind the back of the net. Another couple of seconds, last shot before they return to full strength. They can't get it away. It's 5-on-5. Shot coming in from Wilson. Collected before it can get in the range of net. Millie and Premack have a little joust, and it comes away for Brabant down the right. Works his way inside. Lovely drop pass to Webber, just wide of the target. It'll find its way back to Rick Brabant. This line now starting really to pay dividends for Mike Blaisdell. That was Lambert. And then it was Chris Callan waving it air, but here's Millie, all on his own. He doesn't have anybody else for help, so has to blast in the direction of Butler and hope there's somebody there for the rebound. They weren't really on the blocks there, the Sheffield Steelers, and Millie was the only person who really seemed to have any nous about him on that occasion. Here's Matt Trickett. Taylor Both sets of supporters really getting behind their team now. Taylor lay off by Lambert. They fly down the right wing with 80, backhand, it's there for the loose spoils and scored on the rebound by Lambert. And the Sheffield Steelers, from being 6-1 up, find themselves 7-6 adrift. 2:13 into the final period. The Panthers take the lead.
Well, this is a dreadful goal for Mark Mackay to give away. A weak backhand shot. He fails to hold on to it. Ross Lambert pounces on it, no problem whatsoever. Here we see it. Ross Lambert plays the one pass off. We're breaking up the side of the ice. A really weak backhand shot. Doesn't hold on, just gives it right onto the stick of Ross Lambert, and he sticks it in the net.
Ross Lambert scoring the 6th and the 7th goal. 7-6 to the Panthers over the Steelers. 17:45 remaining in the game. 6-1 to 7-6. Unbelievable stuff, but that's what the Panthers are made of. Mike O'Connor lay off now, and the Steelers have to up the whip a bit. Priestley blasts into the plexiglass, well wide of the target, and his shooting stick is just not quite working as he would like at this stage. Perhaps Steve Nemeth can, and then it's battered away by Butler. Disappears over the plexi. Lady in the front row picks up the puck. And a lot of thinking for the Sheffield Steelers bench to do now.
Here we see Ken Priestley, no, Stevie Nemeth lining up a shot, and it just gets deflected straight up over into the crowd. No danger to anybody.
Well, the Sheffield Steelers have not scored since 23:52. That seems a long time ago now. Waghorn. Whacking around the boards. Can Wilson get a good collection on it? Didn't initially, but then managed to control it. It's still in the danger zone as far as the Steelers are concerned, and Wilson hasn't got it far enough away. Now perhaps they can with Cranston trying to make something happen in neutral ice. Cranston. Now here's a time for Tommy Plummer, trying to be one step ahead of the defenseman, who was too keen, too clever. Managed to stop any further incision over the blue line. Now here's Kelland. What can he do by working it inside? Here's Plummer. Plummer lets the shot go, and Butler's equal to that on the deck. Easy pickings for him as Nottingham Panthers break with Webber down the left. Offside call made. Taylor. That's Matt Trickett. As Mike Blaisdell uses the depth of his bench to try and keep this advantage. Perhaps turn the screw still further for the Nottingham Panthers. Pucks are going astray for the Sheffield Steelers. 80, they can walk it in. Lambert for a hat-trick, and a good save by Martin Mackay. That was point-blank range and probably the easiest of the three opportunities for Lambert. And it looked all over. A straight hat-trick there.
Well, Michael Connor will be counting his blessings here. He got away with a nice major mistake here. And a lovely three-way play for Nottingham. Picked up by 80, passed down to the bottom post, straight over, one-time shot by Lambert. Mark Mackay takes it inside his armpit. Nice place to keep it.
Still the danger not averted. Chuck Taylor whacks one with great force forward. Tommy Plummer can't get it. Everything going wrong at the moment for the Sheffield Steelers. And what was going so well for them in the early stages of the second period has just all fallen apart. Cranston, Shudra. What can Shudra do with it? He's going to work it out from behind the net slowly but surely. Plummer dumps it into the corner. Millie will chase. Millie tries to whip it back for Tommy Plummer. There's a good opening here, perhaps for Mike O'Connor to blast one into the side netting. Some of the crowd think it's in. It's not. And it's going to be worked away by Paul Adey down the right for the Nottingham Panthers. Laid off by Belanger. Belanger will drive to the net if he can get a chance to get the shot away. Steelers clear this time. Back behind for Paul Adey. Adey held in by Cranston. The referee looks to see if anything needs calling. It doesn't this time. Meanwhile, at the other end of the ice, Tommy Plummer working his way, dipsy-doodling his way, gets the shot in, tries to get the shot in, collects a couple of bodies on the way, and then Stephen Butler doesn't have to make the save because Chuck Taylor's there as the first line of defence. All along the deck, just testing out the goalie, Martin Mackay this time. Shuja's pass is a poor one, straight onto the stick of Premack. And they really have to start putting things together now. Nemeth might be the man to do that. I'll give it Priestley in front of net. Scott Neal is there also, just driving into the crease. Meanwhile, at the other end, chance perhaps for Mark Twait. Twait not too far wide this time, and the defence not picking up their men. Finding it very hard to get back in range. And Nottingham Panthers should have the most tired legs. They had to play most of their bench at Peterborough, but they didn't do it for the Steelers and Milton Keynes. They had a bit of a rest in the third period. It doesn't look that way at this stage. Now, 2-on-2 break perhaps for the Sheffield Steelers. Nemeth, Priestley's got himself open down the right. Played in the direction, it's in! And Steve Butler didn't read that at all! And it's Steve Nemeth who'll take the credit for that, his second goal of the evening. The first goal for the Sheffield Steelers in the third period. Boy, they needed that. And the Sheffield Steelers tie the game. It's 7 apiece.
Well, Stevie Nemeth, a lot of hard work, a lot of hard skating there, and goodness knows he deserves a break there. But what a nice piece of luck for Sheffield. That brings him back in the game, and Stevie Butler will be seeing that one in his sleep tonight. He certainly didn't see it tonight at the game. Here we go. Steve Nemeth, he's got decoys going right, left, centre, everywhere you want them. Priestley cuts for the net just after here. Nemeth floats a speculative dump on the net, and Butler just times it so badly. 7-7.
Steve Nemeth's second goal of the night. It's 7-7, 13-33. It's 8-7 with 30 on the clock. Because the Nottingham Panthers, as they did in the second period, retaliate straight away, and the Panthers have their noses in front. It's 8-7.
Once again, Sheffield caught after scoring a nice goal. And here we go, Lambert given all the time in the world in the slot, but what a really accurate shot that is. That's the bottom corner. It's the hardest save for Mark Mackay to save. It's the hardest save for him to make. He sticks side, makes it very difficult to get the full blade of the stick along the ice.
Straight hat-trick for Lambert. 8-7 Panthers over Steelers. 13 and a half minutes to go. The Panthers fans are ecstatic. Plummer takes a tumble. Panthers head in the other direction. Wilson tries to dump it in. Plummer is coming back for an offside position. Has to retreat back over the blue line. Matt Trickett now. Steelers fans giving full vent to their voices now as we get an icing call. 13:07 remaining in the third period. Steelers looking to put a bit of pressure back on the Nottingham net, but Shudra can't keep the puck in the zone. Now, Nemeth will find Priestley. Neal down the right if he wants to use him. Priestley's going to go and gun for goal, and this time Butler gets himself well in behind that one. Just plops down in front of him. He freezes the puck. Another face-off. Here's Brabant. Brabant has a nose for goal, knows exactly where it is, but so too does Steve Nemeth as he works his way down the other way. Priest is going to join him in support down the right. Just goes on the overlap. It's Nemeth. Does well, so strong on the puck. Then gets Brabant wrestling all over him. They fire it in just wide. Shuja will put it back on somebody's stick with interest, and then the pass doesn't go where it was intended. Does find its way back to Scott Neal though. Eludes the player at the back of the net, and Steve Nemeth will try and hold it in for the Sheffield Steelers. A rare old tussle going on there. Priestley will look to collect. What a change game this is, and what a different game it is from when the two sides met on the 27th of December. It was 3-3 on that occasion, a very tight defensive game. This time, goals are plenty, 15 so far. How many more to come? 8 for the Panthers, 7 for the Steelers. Cranston as Plummer goes on the chase. They'll try and clear the zone, they will. It's an icing call, and they'll come all the way back.
No team seems to be able to take control right at this moment in time. We see Alex Dampier trying to create some imagination here for his team and for his players to give them some confidence. I'm sure they're feeling like they need G'd up right now. I'm sure they'll be working on adrenaline though.
Alex Dampier, former coach of the Nottingham Panthers, will be feeling doubly hurt if the Steelers don't get this game in the bag, and they've got lots to do. Yeah, Boulanger just testing out Martin Mackay from long range. They clear the zone. Here's Matt Trickett. It's Ross Lambert who's been causing no end of problems to Rob Wilson and the defence in this game. Tireless work, as we said early on, and he's made so many things happen for the Panthers in this game. Chuck Taylor waiting for the puck back on the blue line. Can't keep the puck in the zone. Now chance for Tommy Plummer. Again, he needs support. It's arriving behind him from Les Milley. Plummer still got it. Plummer gets the shot away. He was on target, and Butler did well to stop. It's loose, and Milley scores! Les Milley scores, and the delight is all over the little man's face, because that is a goal of enormous proportions to the Sheffield Steelers.
Great work by Tommy Plummer. Pulls the defenseman, turns him inside out, gets a couple of breaks off his skates here, doesn't know where the puck goes, and then lays this lovely pass off the outside of the stanchion right onto Les Milley's stick. I've seen him practice this before, and I'm sure he meant it tonight. Once again, Tommy Plummer, in, out, nice lucky break. Here we go, here's the nice pass. One, it's deadly, you can't defend against that.
Laser Les Milley, as he's called around these parts, scores his first of the night. And the Sheffield Steelers 8th. Meanwhile, Scott Neal tests out Steve Butler, and he gets everything in behind that this time.
Steve Butler's having a big confidence crisis at the moment, and I think that's why Alex Dampier is wanting all the shots to be rained in on him. You can see here, Scott Neal, that's a hard shot. That's not often they're going to go in the goal, and Butler still doesn't look comfortable right now.
Timeout has been called by the Sheffield Steelers, I think. 10:58 remaining on the game. Steelers 8, Panthers 8, and it's Mike Blaisdell who just wants to bring everything to a halt and take a breather. It's he who's called the timeout. Steve Nemeth in the face-off circle. Steelers desperately want to win it. It's going to fall back out favourably to Nemeth. Works it in front of goal. There was nearly somebody there. Shot from Kelland, and Butler this time is strong, and he's well positioned at the near pipe just to prevent that one sneaking away, because not too far away was Ken Priestley.
I think the Panthers here should be looking to protect their netminder a little more. There he is. If you can look at the way the pass comes over, he's left exposed once again. No defenseman, no forwards, taking the guy in the point.
Kelland, they're just shooting on sight at the moment, which is perhaps the tactic that might just turn this game around for the Steelers. 6-1 up, it's now 8-8, they're tied. Shot from Rick Brabant. They haven't cleared it far enough away, now they have. Here's Waghorn, just dumping it back in, saying to Chris Kelland, right, you do all the hard work from deep in the corner. Nasty bounce has fallen back out to Brabant. And luckily, watching in front of net was Wilson as Steve Nemeth advances down the ice. It's played wide to the right, and this is looking dangerous again. A little drop pass for Rick Brabant, who knows precisely where the goal is. Look for the wraparound, it was well covered, and it's still bubbling around. Shot from Premack into the back of the net, or behind the back of the net for a ricochet. Could easily have gone further down. He just lifted it with the stick. Here's 80, and it'll be an icing call. They go all the way back, and we're into the last portion of this game. 9:51 remaining.
Well, nobody can complain about the value for money tonight. They get plenty of action, plenty of goals, lots of aggressive hockey, and that man there, Chris Kelland, great example of what professional hockey players all around. 37-year-old looking like he's 21.
Steelers and Panthers tied at 8 apiece, 9:51. It's edge of the seat stuff. We haven't got a clue which way this game's going to go. You really cannot predict. One of three results, all of which are possible at this stage. Ashley Tate will try and change it for a positive nature for the Nottingham Panthers. Tommy Plummer will clear the zone. Mike O'Connor will try and find his man, which would have been Les Milley. He can't. So they're working it back onto defence. And now they're pushing men forward. Tommy Plummer will find Milley arriving. This worked well for them last time. Milley shot just wide. Plummer will try and force it in front of net for somebody, but they can't get it this time, and it's really scrappy at both ends as they look for what could be a decisive goal at this stage of the competition. Shooter up, Milley. Cranston, Plummer. Plummer needs somebody. They're doing a line change. Can you believe it? They're doing a line change as Waghorn is held into the boards. They needed support to make something happen there. The line change was made almost immediately. Here's Scott Neal trying to find his man in front. That would have been Priestley had Steve Butler not snaffled the puck before the former NHLer got a chance to pounce. And it'll be another face-off and another advantage for the Sheffield Steelers. Nemeth. Brabant. AD. Still Paul AD. Waghorn now with a long-range boomer. It's fallen nicely. It might be it's got to be a call. That has got to be a call on Scott Neal. I don't believe that Ken Taggart let that go. They've kept the puck in play. Here comes AD with the boos of the crowd ringing out. Brabant kicked away, and now the Steelers motivated to go in the other direction. It's a great move by Steve Nemeth. And Steve Butler literally did get everything in behind that one. Kelland, Nemeth needs somebody behind the back of the net to go on the chase. Scott Neal, then he finds his stick taken away from him. Meanwhile, Wilson in centre ice will work his way down the centre. Wilson, long range, into the plexi and bounces back. Offside call made on the far side, but really, surely, that should have been a power play for the Sheffield Steelers.
Well, I think Ken Taggart would wishing the hole would open up on the ice and swallow him there. If you can see that one on a replay, it was probably the clearest and most obvious penalty of the night. And Sheffield obviously agreed to the decision there, but you know, that's the game of hockey.
There's O'Connor. Head down, no nonsense, drives for the net, tries to flip it back, and there should have been Tim Cranston in position. There wasn't this time. And the Panthers will work their way down right wing. Collected though by Tommy Plummer. Rink-wide pass for Les Milley. Milley in a rare old battle with Lambert. Nothing called again by the referee. Players allowed to continue. He's getting very rough in centre ice. Milley has it back again. He'll have to do it again by himself. He looks up and there is nobody there. Not reading the play at all at the moment, the Sheffield Steelers. When support was needed, it wasn't on hand. Meanwhile, Belanger will try and force his way to net. He can't, but he'll get it back and just whip it into the corner. Here's Mike O'Connor. O'Connor can't clear his zone, and they've given it to Belanger. That was a very good challenge by Shudra to stop Belanger going any further. That was perhaps a goal-saving challenge by Shudra. Meanwhile, at the other end of the net, it's Rick Brabant who gives it to Chuck Taylor. Brabant just taking a little bit of a nudge from Tommy Plummer. Line change again for the Sheffield Steelers. A couple of players go off. Meanwhile, it's Brabant who takes a dive. He's not going to get a tripping call on that one. Here's Premack. Back on the blue line. Premack through the centre of the ice for Brabant. Such a dangerous customer. Drop pass for 80. Lets one go. Didn't get full contact on that. Stick breaks in half. Little bits of it floating all over the ice. Meanwhile, it's Chris Calland going the other direction. Steve Butler will freeze the puck because there was danger lurking from Chris Calland. And it's all action stuff here with 6:11 to go in the game.
Well, it's obvious now that Ken Taggart's not going to call any penalties unless it's an absolute necessity. I don't know if that's going to be good for the game or bad for the game. It's certainly getting the crowd on the edge of the seats and getting the commentators extremely excited. We see here Shudra's obviously picked up a bit of a dead leg when he hit Belanger as he cut inside. He saved Mike O'Connor's skin there, that's for sure.
Well, they need to get him patched up and back out on the ice. The noise here is absolutely deafening as the crowd give virtually one last lift and surge. Steve Nemeth was hoping to pick up on that puck when it came loose from the face-off circle, but he can't. Wilson whacks it back in around the boards. Steve Butler might have laid it on the plate for Neal. Scott Neal, here's Nemeth. Who's out in front? It's Priestley. Priestley looks for it. Oh, and it just bypassed his stick. So close and so far as the Steelers are concerned. Now AD. All whipped back into Graham Waghorn. They'll have to clear the zone because it's come out over the blue line, and Brabant will set things up. Why Brabant is back at that end of the ice at the moment, I don't know, protecting his defence. Maybe they're settling for the 8-8 tie at this stage. I can't believe they are. Chris Kelland down the left. Premack gets the puck on the end of his stick, so there'll be no icing. Taylor Trick it down the left, Tate down the right. Brabant says, I've had enough, I want to change. Belanger takes his place and immediately gets into the action. Belanger gets the shot away. Martin Mackay at full stretch. Belanger will go back in for it again, being helped out by Ross Lambert, but Steelers will come away with it now. And they've got men across the ice. Here's Millie, who'll look up and he'll see Cranston out of his corner of his eye. Will try and pull it back for Plummer. They'll go for the long-range effort, perhaps from Rob Wilson. Wilson lets it go, tees it up, and Steve Butler got something on that to push it wide. Wilson again. Last 5 minutes of the game. It's a real cauldron at the Sheffield Arena. What a game. Chuck Taylor stopped from getting any further by Les Millie, who's in centre. Tommy Plummer. Oh, he put it wide. Cranston. Still Cranston. Plummer out in front of net. Millie's there. Plummer will have to go on the chase. It's played to the skates of Rob Wilson, who couldn't get out of the way. Wilson, Kelland, Scott Neal. Build-up looking better now from the Sheffield Steelers. Panthers back in force though. Wilson, big man, tries to work his way through. Another big man in his way though. It's Brabant, who's doing well at both ends of the ice. Meanwhile, at the other end, Ashley Tate lets one go. Collects Chris Kelland on the way. Tate looking for the wraparound, tries to force it back to Rick Brabant. It's all action stuff here. You won't see a more entertaining or lively game. And both sides know the next goal could be the crucial one. 3:48 remaining in the game. Chris Kelland. Priestley leaves that one. Here's Scott Neal. Neal just tests out Butler. Knows Priestley will be there for the ricochet. Comes back across the face. Nemeth just a second too late in arriving in position. And Panthers again will clear through Waghorn, through the centre of the ice. Long range effort. Martin Mackay came a long way outside his goal crease to stop that one. Mike O'Connor will find Priestley. Now here's a good opening for them if they're quick. Priestley dumps it in. Nemeth, oh, that could have gone in. In fact, it was looking like it might have gone in until Butler managed to get everything in behind that. 80 will find Nemeth almost in his shorts there. Kelland. Last 3 minutes of the game coming up. Chris Kelland working his way down the right. Still going Kelland. Can he get the shot away now? He's on his own. Who's there to support him? Nobody. Les Millie arrives on right wing now. Cranston belatedly. That'll be high sticks on Millie as soon as he plays it. Or should be, but he doesn't. And Taylor will play it around the boards. Meanwhile, the Sheffield Steelers fans are absolutely delirious at the moment. The linesman has spotted there are 6 men on the ice, so there's going to be too many men on the ice. The linesman spots it, so that will be a 2-minute power play for the Sheffield Steelers, if that is the case. And Ken Taggart is going to call, is he going to call a bench minor? He's talking to Ashley Tate. Something certainly was happening there, and I'm sure the linesman indicated there were 6 men on the ice. It's a 2-minute call made against the Nottingham Panthers. And it'll be too many men on the ice, and this is a crucial time in the game. Well, too many men on the ice, and Ashley Tate then kicks out at the penalty box. He'll be lucky not to get another 2 minutes for that if he's not careful.
Timeout being called by Sheffield Steelers. And I think Alex Dampier is going to try and work something whereby they steal this game and get the go-ahead goal.
Well, Mike Blaisdell will be the man to be really kicking himself, and the Nottingham Panthers fans now on the edge of their seats wondering, is there another twist, is there another turn, is there another chapter in this game? Alex Dampier will tell his team what to do. They'll have 5 men out on the ice. Nottingham Panthers will have 4. There's only 2:35 remaining in the game, and really now, Ronnie Wood, they have to make this count.
Well, this is a golden opportunity. They've got away with a few mistakes tonight. Nottingham have got away with a few mistakes tonight. And what a terrible way for a game to end, for a team to be down to 4 players against 5 for the last 2 minutes when there's 2:35 remaining. It's backs against the wall time. But watch Rick Brabant. Keep your eye on Rick Brabant. I've got a funny feeling he might just be the man that's going to make all the difference to this game.
Well, this is a chance, a golden chance for the Sheffield Steelers. Shooter's going to have a long-range rip. It almost finds its way in off the stick of Tommy Plummer. Here's Cranston. Who's he got in his view? He's got Tommy Plummer. He's got Chris Kelland. Is he going to find an angle for the shot? He's going to give it to Shooter. A shot! He scores inside the left-hand pipe, and Steelers could well be back from the dead thanks to an error by the Nottingham Panthers bench. Too many men on the ice has presented Sheffield Steelers with this power play goal.
Well, here we go. Ron Shooter just slides down. Watch him go. Here he goes, line himself up. Wonderfully weighted pass from Kiskellen. And at the end of the day, the Sheffield Arena hero, Rocket Ron Shudra, does the job. Gives them the go-ahead goal. 2 minutes 20 to go. There's still a lot can happen.
9-8 to the Steelers. Okay, hello, what's happened here? Ken Taggart's having a chat with Chris Calland.
It looks like they're going to be measuring the stick. Nottingham seem to have complained that there's an illegal hook on the stick of one of the Sheffield players, and they're asking for it to be checked.
Well, what drama.
That's a desperate ploy. Desperate ploy.
And of course they get a 2-minute penalty if it doesn't work.
Yeah, so it's looking like it's desperation for Nottingham, and something they've kept up the sleeve till the end of the game. It would appear that Ken Taggart was just left it.
Goodness me. Well, the stick hasn't been measured, because if it has been measured, then it would be a 2-minute penalty against the Panthers. But, well, we'll let play carry on, because that's immaterial now. What is very much the case, it's 9-8 to the Steelers. I have never heard so much noise in the Sheffield Arena in my life. And I tell you what, in 2 minutes' time, when this game is elapsed, I won't say anything. I won't need to. You'll just hear everything reverberating down the... Wherever you are in the country, you'll hear the noise. Ross Lambert. Lambert back to Waghorn. Tries to get it back to the point. They're trying to work it in. There looks for Lambert. Well, Lambert, there's a great chance opening up. They haven't got the man covered in front of net. Steelers will clear through Wilson. Any port in a storm now. 1:40 to go. Chuck Taylor will collect and give it to Waghorn. Waghorn, it's bobbling around, doesn't know where it is. It might be won back by the Steelers, and probably will be eventually, as a right old cluster of bodies on halfway. Falls out to Callan, puts it through to Cranston. They've got to make sure they don't cough it up. They do just that. One back, shot ranging in. Oh, Martin Mackay didn't see that. Came through a forest of bodies. He would have known absolutely nothing about that if it had been on target. Steelers happy to clear, but they're giving it to Brabant. They're going to walk it in. No, they can't. And there's a great chance for Lambert. Again, the pass put right on his stick. We're down to the final minute of the game now as Graham Waghorn chases back. Les Millie will try and hold him in there. Hold him up that end as long as he can. Millie's running back. Cranston goes for the shot looking for the hat-trick goal. Can't get it. They've called up the ice now. Here's 80. Belanger is the only man up the ice with him. They pull the goalie, the Nottingham Panthers. They pull the goalie. They have 6 out players now. An empty net to the far end of the Sheffield Arena.
Plenty of time for Nottingham to get a goal. They've got to get away from this panic situation, take stock of what they've got to do, and I'm sure they can come up with something. But Sheffield got brilliant work by Les Millie there. Skated the full length of the ice, put Graham Waghorn under the most intense pressure, took the puck, held it up for a few seconds, ran down the clock. Wonderful work. Now it looks like there's some more action from Ken Taggart. And Ken Taggart's going to start calling
penalties. It's an unsportsmanlike conduct given to the Nottingham Panthers. Unsportsmanlike conduct given to the Nottingham Panthers. Maybe, well, he's certainly telling the bench, if you do that again, you are gone. He's not making his signals very clear to us, but he's having a long chat with Rick Brabant, Ron Shudra and Chris Calland.
The problem is he thinks that Nottingham have got too many men on the ice right at this moment in time. In actual fact, they pulled the goalkeeper and they're allowed to play 6 players. That's what would appear from this side of the fence. This is a strange decision. Oh, it would appear that they changed the line too late and he wants certain players on the ice that he saw at the first instance.
Well, certainly he made the signal to the bench as unsportsmanlike there and pointed directly at Mike Blaisdell, but he's not enacted that call. So they remain 5-on-5. No goalie though for the Nottingham Panthers. They pulled their goalie. They've got 6 out players now. Shudra will look to clear it. Get it out the zone. He hasn't done it well enough. Lambert. There's Nemeth. It's all getting a bit frantic. Here's Scott Neal. Last 36 seconds of the game as Randall Webber brings it away. He's having to act as cover for the absent goalie. Webber, and now Chuck Taylor's going to act as the netminder. Shudra anywhere now will do. Priestley on halfway. It's just going to go wide. But we're into the last 20 seconds now. This could be the last charge up the ice. Has to be the last charge up the ice for the Nottingham Panthers. Centering to Lambert. 15 seconds to go. Lambert gets tied up. They flick it towards Mackay. He's got to watch that carefully. Last 8 seconds. It's still there. A chance for Webber. Still bobbling around. They need to clear it. It's a right old scrum in front of net. 3 seconds to go. And the game comes to a halt. This will be the last face-off of the match.
Well, I think that's it. I think that's over. I think Nottingham have blown their chances now. To score a goal in 3 seconds against a team like Sheffield from this face-off, this position, I don't think they're capable of doing it. Here we see all this smash in front of the net, bodies everywhere. Sheffield do the smart thing at the end of the day. Scott Neal planks his backside right down on top of the puck, gets the whistle, takes the pressure off for the time being. 3 seconds to go, and what an atmosphere.
Well, many said the game between the Panthers and the Steelers just after Christmas was the best game they'd seen at the Sheffield Arena. Well, this game must knock that into a cock-tap, because this is just edge-of-the-seat stuff. Look at that, it's like a rugby scrum out there. Everybody looking for position. Whoever wins the face-off is in a good position to either make sure the game is won or tie the game. Meanwhile, a bit of something going on with Shudra and Butler. They've got Butler out there for what I think is probably the first time tonight, just to agitate.
Well, that's all Butler ever used for. He's not the most intelligent person in the world, and he creates problems. It's a straightforward dump on the net, 5 bodies straight in, try and push over the goal line. Big face-off.
Here we go. It's got to be a face-off won by the Panthers. It's into the boards, and that's it! Sheffield Steelers have pulled themselves back into the game, and the Nottingham Panthers' unbeaten run of 21 league matches comes to an end. You will never see a more exhilarating, exciting or captivating game, and you can look at those faces and see what it means to them, and to them as well, in the crowd here at the Sheffield Arena, because the Nottingham Panthers have lost their first game in the league, and the Sheffield Steelers go storming on to tie them at the top of the Premier Division. Final score in a most amazing game. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have. The Sheffield Steelers have beaten the Nottingham Panthers by 9 goals to 8. Well, Ron, I think a bit of an explanation is required about that game. Now, how do you go from 6-1 to 7-6?
Well, you know, it's one of those types of things that we had a very, very bad letdown in the second period. It let them back into the game. We were well in control of it, and really just died in the second period. They got a couple goals. The heads went down. I think Marty's head went down a little bit for the chances that went in the net. And once the guys lose their confidence, it's tough to get it back.
A team like Nottingham are a quality outfit. There's no way they're going to lay down and die. And when the first couple goals went in, brought it back up to 6-3, I said to Clyde, we better regroup quick here. Marty's lost a bit of confidence, and the guys are starting to play more like a disorganized rabble here. And Nottingham took advantage of it. They came at us very hard.
The one goal that they said was in it's hard to say from where we were on the bench, but Robbie Wilson was there. He made the save, and he said it was nowhere near the net. But it's tough in a pressure situation. On the referees too, he's got to make a decision. He waited, tried for some help, and one thing he didn't do was consult the goal judge. But it's a call that went against us. But it evened out in the end there. I mean, a 6-man on the ice is pretty much a mental mistake by the players and the coach himself. But if it's there, then it's got to be called. It's been called against us a few times, and it's just unfortunate it happened in such a good game like this.
What's it like for you on the bench the last couple of minutes like this game, where you've just notched in front for the first time in a long time? You've still got 2.5 minutes to hang on.
Oh, well, I must admit, I thrive on it. I really enjoy it. The crowd's up, everybody's buzzing.
I can sure say that the tension on the bench was pretty high. I mean, everyone was cheering and shouting and praying for the puck to get out of your own end. And what Alex basically said was just get it out of your end and get it into their end, which is tough to do sometimes when they all of a sudden have 6 guys on the ice.
Here we go. It's got to be a face-off won by the Panthers. It's into the boards, and that's it! Sheffield Steelers have pulled themselves back into the game, and the Nottingham Panthers' unbeaten run of 21 league matches comes to an end. You will never see a more exhilarating, exciting or captivating game, and you can look at those faces and see what it means to them, and to them as well, in the crowd here at the Sheffield Arena, because the Nottingham Panthers have lost their first game in the league, and the Sheffield Steelers go storming on to tie them at the top of the Premier Division. Final score in a most amazing game. We hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have. The Sheffield Steelers have beaten the Nottingham Panthers by 9 goals to 8.